I think enough has been heard from the Parkland kids, or at least the ones that gun control organizations have anointed to be their sock puppets for the day. But Reason magazine recently reported that despite media's attempts to portray students as being monolithically supportive of gun control, student opinions were actually a lot more diverse. Unsurprisingly, not enough coverage is given to Hogg and Gonzalez's schoolmate Kyle Kashuv, or the students in Brevard County, Florida, who recently held their Pro 2A walkout. These kids tend to show themselves a lot more knowledgeable about gun issues and less given over to profanity, thereby demonstrating which side is more dominated by facts and which one is more dominated by feels. But you can't really blame the Parkland punks for being so heavy on passion and so light on punditry. After all, lacking a lot of life experience, it's natural for them to play to their strongest suit, which is emotion. Given enough time, they may mature in their views. I know I did. But not everyone does, not even those who wait to teach them in college. It's probably already been forgotten that just a few months ago, campus carry was the big burning issue, especially at campuses like Texas at Austin and Kansas University. And it sparked a rash of reactions among professors all across the country. But the sort of reactions they had were generally dictated by how much they knew about the issue, or not.
No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone.
Now, for the record, I am a college-educated gun owner, which I understand a lot of gun control advocates think such a thing doesn't exist. But I hold a master's degree. I had to do a lot of writing, a lot of research in order to obtain that degree. And so I am very familiar with academia's values towards making an assertion and substantiating it. The principle being, while opinions are fine, informed opinions are far better. So I'm rather disappointed that those who drilled these sort of standards into me don't bother exercising the same regarding their assumptions on campus carry. Now, I've read opinions from professors from various campuses like Alaska at Anchorage, or Georgia at Athens, or Texas at Austin, or the University of Kansas, even two universities that are near and dear to my heart, the University of Tennessee at Knoxville and Western Carolina. And they tend to feature two major points. They almost read like copies of each other. And these 2 points are, one, a fear of armed confrontations in the classroom, either over bad grades or classroom discussions gone awry, and two, a lack of any sort of effort into seeing if such confrontations have happened on campuses that have already enacted campus carry. Campus carry has been in this country since 2003, starting with Colorado, and Utah following in 2004. So for at least 14 years, we have had ample time to see if any of these armed confrontations or problems that these professors are afraid of have come to pass. And they haven't. For 14 years, not a single armed confrontation or a student threatening a professor over grades. And this hasn't just been the case for Utah and Colorado. It has also been true for 4 other states that have also enacted campus carry, namely Idaho, Mississippi, Oregon, and Wisconsin. These professors with objections to campus carry, and for whom seeking out the truth of matters is supposedly their bread and butter, apparently couldn't be bothered to see if their assumptions and their concerns about campus carry were really founded. Well, that's not entirely fair. The New York Times did a sort of cross-sectional op-ed featuring 2 professors and 2 former students, one for each side of the issue. And the pro-gun professor actually presented researched facts to back up his assertions instead of running on speculation. Again, we see this sort of contrast, how anti-gun profs tend to run on speculations and feelings as opposed to pro-gun profs who have facts to back up their assertions. just like anti-gun students tend to run on emotions and assumptions, whereas pro-gun students tend to run on facts backing up their assertions. The pattern continues with anti-gun folks in general dealing mostly in emotions and assumptions, whereas pro-gun people tend to back up their assertions with facts. But I saw, interestingly enough, how facts can affect someone who is intellectually honest. A professor from my undergraduate alma mater, Western Carolina University, decided to write an op-ed in Inside Higher Ed, basically throwing in his 2 cents against campus carry, and he received a ton of criticism and negative feedback from it. And it prompted him to write a follow-up article where he basically clings on to his anti-gun stance but completely undermines it by admitting that if the law was passed in North Carolina for campus carry, he would carry a gun himself, which to me sounds like a very clear admission about the defensive value of guns, even on campus. It has been about a year since the furor over campus carry at both Texas and Kansas. How have these two campuses fared? In the case of Texas, a lot of the dark prognostications that those professors were sure were going to pass have not. In the case of Kansas, things have gotten even better because not only have there not been any armed confrontations or armed gunfights between disagreeing students, but campus crime has gone down. And acts of negligence among licensed carriers, exactly 0 for 2017. But do you think professors will be willing to admit that they might have been wrong?